welcome to the Urban Growth New South Wales International Summit.
On behalf of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, I'd like to give you a warm and sincere welcome here today.
Well, thank you to this very exciting collaboration. A first for Sydney, a first for New South Wales, and indeed a first for Australia.
And I hope you can see the incredible potential that lies before you.
By bringing together the best local and international expertise, we believe we can achieve great outcomes.
We were hoping to get 100 participants and 20 speakers. We've now got 83 speakers and 330 participants. We have community representatives from the local communities, from other parts of Sydney. We have people representing the industries such as architecture, urban design and others. We have academics. We have practitioners from across Australia, from every state, who have been involved in the past in major projects similar to the ones that we might undertake here.
I hope that you can sense the excitement here this morning. You would have felt the buzz as you walked through that amazing set that recreates the Bays Precinct. There is a reference library and you'll see lots of the work of some of the speakers. There's also a lot of effort going into knowledge capture, noting what you've said during panel discussions and Q&As to build that strategy that David is so focused on getting out of this 3 days.
The purpose of a session like this is to open minds.
You want to hear people's case studies from their own cities and then think how it might be applied here.
We can all learn from each other and all be inspired.
You can just have this as a bit of a talk fest, but it hasn't been. It's been very practical.
The quality of the people, the level of the presentation, the different expertise are amazing.
We are in the thinking stage, and as we're talking now, we're throwing ideas around, which is great.
So where our mind needs to be really is focused on 30 years ahead, what that common sense will be.
Taking risk at the front end of these projects is where the public money is most effective.
Unless you mobilise all the stakeholders involved at the outset, then you will never get the most efficient piece at the end.
Once people know that there is actually a solid idea, and that idea has got to be solid and got to have majority support, then you actually will get people coalescing around it.
Learn from what's happening around the world. That is one of the most important things you can continue to do.
The unmeasurable stuff creates the value. And certainly we learned this in the great estates in the UK.
The issue of transport and development, which comes first, is something we've grappled with in Singapore since the 60s.
The mix of activities and people is what makes, to me, the Pike Market particularly special.
You don't want to sterilize it and start fresh with everything. You need to maintain some of those existing uses.
The space between the buildings is the most important part of our society right now.
By knitting the whole urban fabric together, as well as dealing with the edge, is vitally important.
What is heritage? Heritage is not a fixed point in the past. Point of what we pass on.
It's a complex creation to create a great place, but let me just pick on one thing, and that's diversity.
But you have to trust your partners, and they have to trust you. Transparency, make it clear.
It's such a special opportunity, but it should never neglect the people who have been in that place.
I want to listen to all the players. I want to listen to what they want to do and why they want to do it.
Talking to the immediate and the wider community, I think is absolutely critical to develop that long-term vision, and I think that this conference has been an excellent start in that process.
I congratulate Urban Growth. I think this has been an extraordinarily successful bringing together of local and state and international experts, and the room is buzzing with ideas, and that's fantastic.
Thank you so much for the contribution so far to the collaboration wall. You can also pick your companion for lunch at one of our talking tables. Each one is hosted by one of our guests today.
I think that Urban Growth are very clear of what they wanted in terms of a vision and a set of principles, a set of good thoughts about the future.
We don't have a good history of doing this in Sydney, so I think Urban Growth is really trying to turn that around, and I'm heartened.
This is about creating a series of dialogues and partnerships and understandings.
It builds up a network to run alongside the project as you go through it, and having that sort of peer review group must be really valuable.
has been a unique experience from the perspective of not starting with lines on maps, not starting with pictures, not even starting with expectations, but engaging very broadly with the local communities, with experts in the field, both here in Australia and indeed around the world.
The feedback is fantastic. It is everything that David Pitchford promised it would be, and I thank you for the great gift that you have given Sydney, which is your thoughts, your experience.
And I think we're all joined in our ambition to make this a superb project, something of which we can be very proud for decades and hopefully centuries to come. So thank you very much for your contribution, and we look forward to continuing to engage with you.